So I've landed here on my Calendly booking page, and this is the booking page that two types of clients are going to land on. Your prospect clients are going to land here, and they're going to book their initial consultation. And also, your students are going to book their recurring meetings through this same page. So once I select a day, a time, and hit confirm, we'll be brought to this window here. Now, some important things to note. If it's a new student, a prospect student who is not yet in CounselMore, they're booking a consultation with you. You need to make sure that the name and the email is the student's name and the student's email. We can't have that be the parent's name or email. The reason that is because CounselMore creates the student with whatever name and whatever email gets inputted here. If then a student is scheduling a recurring appointment with you, we also want to make sure that the student's name and the student's email gets put here. That way, we add that meeting to the appropriate student record. So, how can we make sure this happens? We can do that by adding these two questions that I have here. If the name above is not your child's name, please change it. If the email above is not your child's email, please change it. So the main thing we need to do is figure out how we can add these two questions here. So let's figure out how to do that. If I head over to my Calendly page, I end up in this default homepage here. And by default, you're going to end up with three meetings. You're going to end up with a 30-minute consultation, a 60-minute consultation, and a 15-minute consultation. So the one I've already edited is the 60-minute one and also the 30-minute one earlier. So let's just go into the 15-minute meeting just so I can show you guys what it'll look like from scratch. So if we click into this, you're going to be brought into this edit page. And this edit page has a lot of different options. The main one we're looking at today is this invitee questions that we have towards the center of the page. So if we click through that, we'll get brought to the questions that get asked in the screen where we just came from. In this case, this meeting only has these three questions. Each event will have its own set of questions, and by default, you'll have these three: name, email, and then please share anything that will help prepare for our meeting. You can leave that on there. For my case, I'm just going to delete it just so I can show you guys how we can add another question later. But the main thing we want to do first is add that confirmation to make sure that they're entering the student's name. So if I go here and create a new question, I'm going to paste in what I used to have. If the name above is not your child's name, please change it. I'm going to set this as required. And under answer type, I'm going to select checkboxes. It's going to give me three options here, but I only need one. So by hitting the trash can, we can get rid of the rest of them. So once I paste in the answer here, which is basically just the confirmation that they're entering their child's name, I'm going to hit apply. And this question now gets added down here. If the name above is not your child's name, please change it. And the parent has to then confirm, okay, I have entered my child's name. And we need the same type of confirmation for the email. So let's go ahead and paste here something very similar. The only difference is that it's pertaining to the email. And let's set this as required as well. And again, we're going to select checkboxes. We're going to delete these two checkboxes and add our confirmation, which is just telling the parent that they need to add the child's email down there. And we're going to hit apply. We see this question appear up here. Now, let's say we have some additional questions that we want to ask. In my case, a very common one is, what grade are you in? In this case, you can set it as required. You can set it as not required. I'll set it as not required in this case, just so we can see the difference between this and the other two questions. I'll leave it as one line. You might be able to do multiple lines or other types, but I'll leave it as is. Feel free to look around for the other types there. Once I apply, that question gets added here. What grade are you in? In this case, it's not required, like I said. And you can see that a question is required or not, whether it has this asterisk here. And you can see whether these 3 questions are required or not. In our case, just 2 and 3 is required, and these up here as well, you'll see the asterisk. So the only one that's not is this down here. So let's go ahead and save and close. And what we'll want to do is click this view live page that's going to be at the top right of this page. It'll take you to the exact same calendar interface that we saw earlier. And once we confirm it, we'll see that the same questions just got added to this event type. So you'll want to note that each event type will have its own questions. You'll want to add questions that pertain to that event. So check them all one by one to see if that fits. And now it's just a matter of testing this out and seeing how that prospect student gets created on the CounselMore end.